Good morning. This is Dee Blake. I'm here today with the League of Women Voters. We're at MetroEast Community Media, where we are doing our 2016 voter election guide. Here with me today is Dr. Sharon Meieran, who is running for open seat for Multnomah County Commissioner in District 1. Is it okay if I call you Sharon?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Good to have you here with us. Sharon, I know you're new to running for office, and many of our viewers may not know of you personally. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and why you sought this open seat?
Yes. So I am an ER doctor. I work at Kaiser. I also am medical director for the Oregon Foundation for Reproductive Health. Okay. And I was actually a lawyer before going to medical school. I practiced law for 7 years and did a number of things, including children's advocacy and family law. And I have 2 kids that are in Portland Public Schools in Southwest. Okay. And it's pretty much me.
Okay. Oh, well, great. Well, that just ties into my first other question for you, which has to do with well, I'll ask you that too, but I wanted to ask specifically about the county and addressing mental and physical health issues. Specifically, how do you believe that the county can do a better job of this? And if you would also address, as those issues relate to substance abuse and homelessness.
So actually that does tie directly into why I'm running for this office.
Great.
So it is really based on what I see every day working in the emergency department. Okay. We see the interconnectedness of all of these things. So, you know, when our systems fail to intervene, people end up in the emergency department for so many reasons. And very often it's because they don't have a roof over their head. It's because they have mental health issues that aren't treated and get to a crisis point. It's because of addictions issues and substance abuse. That has prompted me to take action and do a lot of work, you know, to address some of those systems within the health system and with the state, local governments, to say, you know, we can do things a lot better. So I've been engaged in efforts to coordinate care for people, for the most vulnerable who come to ERs frequently. I'm very involved in efforts to address mental health care, and I'm on there's a new mental health psychiatric facility called the Unity Center. I'm on the advisory board, and there's an opportunity, it's in Multnomah County, for a real paradigm shift in how we treat people with mental illness and mental health crises. I also spearheaded efforts at the state level to have some consistency in prescribing opioids from emergency departments because, you know, we're at an epidemic level of opioid abuse, and we need to do something about that. So the thing is, you can't address your mental health issues or your substance abuse issues or your physical health or really so much else unless you have a safe place to live. So I see how housing is fundamental, directly ties into healthcare, mental health, etc. And I'm running for office because we need to take a systems approach, and I want to be involved in that policy discussion and decision making so we can affect things at the front end.
Great, thank you. How would you evaluate the effectiveness of the Home for Everyone plan dealing with homelessness in Multnomah County?
Yeah, so in terms of the method by which it would evaluate it, or how I think it's doing, or kind of both of those things?
Both of those things,
yeah. So I would evaluate it in the way that I would evaluate any program. So first I would, look at what are the basic goals and objectives, and for Home for Everyone, they're fairly clear. It's that no one will be homeless in our community, and they have a vision of 3 strategies to make that happen. One is prevention, so people don't become homeless in the first place. The other is emergency shelter. So if people are on the streets, how can we get them off the streets and somewhere at least safe as soon as possible? And then the real ultimate goal, which is long-term permanent housing. You kind of have to balance those. So they've set out their objectives. Then you have to collect data, and they have a pretty good system of doing that. And it's there's a homeless intervention database. So they collect all kinds of information, do point-in-time checks of who's on the streets and other things. So they collect it. You then need to analyze it, and then you need to come to conclusions based on that. And they've done a great job also of analyzing it, and have done some really good work. I think I'm just looking at a number here, but over 9,300 people were prevented from becoming homeless last year. About 4,600 homeless people got into permanent housing, and so this is great. But I think the fifth and key element, one of the keys, is effective communication and transparency about that. Because I didn't know this until I started running for office and delving deeper and attending hearings. So communication is an essential component as well.
Yeah. Well, Multnomah County is experiencing just explosion in population growth.
Yes.
And I'm sure as someone running for this office, you've thought about this. What can the county do to ensure that providing community services happens in the long term, given the increase in population that we're experiencing and will probably continue to experience?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I see it every day. There's no time as we were talking about, no time you can go onto any street without there being congestion. And so I think for the long-term approach, what's really essential is both looking at sort of environmental concerns, and the county does have a really robust climate action plan, which we need to stay with, evaluate, and change as needed, taking into account this expected influx, many of whom are climate refugees because they're coming from other places for our temperate climate here. And in addition, we need to focus on housing. I mean, it's so essential, and there are a number of things we need to look at. So in terms of housing density, look creatively at how we can create more space, build affordable units, but ensure that doesn't change the nature of our neighborhoods. And part of it is going to be regional. We need to take a regional approach, because it's not just going to affect Multnomah County. It's going to expand, and we need to figure this out on a regional basis with our neighbor counties and others in the state.
You obviously have opposition to this role. How would you set yourself apart from a candidate running against you?
Yeah. So we've been at a number of forums together, and so some of those distinctions have emerged. I think one of the main things is, if not the main thing, is that I'm coming at this from my lifetime of work on the front line, the work that I'm doing in the ER, a deep passion in my heart for what I see every day in the ER, and caring for the people who often it's the county's mission to serve. I've done all the systems work from outside the system. So I'm coming at this from a different perspective than from within the political system itself. I think that's very beneficial, and especially my passion and prioritization of mental health care. I've been involved in that very intimately for a long time, and so I think that's something beneficial I'll bring. The other area, specific policy issues, I'm in favor of Measure 97, and my opponent is opposed. That's one thing. I think we need to think creatively about shelters for emergencies. Everything needs to be on the table, including Wapato, but we also need to think broadly.
Okay.
And a number of things.
Okay. Well, we're out of time. This goes so quick. So I want to thank you for watching. Again, I'm Dee Blake, and this has been the League of Women Voters video Voters Guide for 2016. The general election is November 8th. Be sure to vote, and be sure to inform yourself about the issues. Thank you very much.